Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We are back with more shards to pull. We are on Mexolius's account here. Names are hard. And we have 120 ancient shards to pull. The portal is lit up blue. We've got this 2 times chances. Let's go. He is hoping for a few different things. Legendary champions is a big part of what he's looking for. He's looking for especially a Seeker. He does not have Seeker. So if he was to get any epic, that is the one that he wants to get. Seeker is obviously just an amazing champion in general. But he opens up for us a whole bunch of clan boss compositions that you wouldn't otherwise have, because he has a 3-turn cooldown turn meter fill that gives an extra turn. So it's really like a 2-turn cooldown, right? He boosts your turn meter so much, it really opens up so many cool clan boss teams. And obviously clan boss is always the top priority. So let's dive in. Oh, he also was another Geomancer. Well, I tell you, you can never have too many Geomancers, that's for sure. Let's go. 120. Let's pull. Let's do this. Let's go. See what we can do. Let's see what we can do. So really with 120 shards, we are definitely hoping to get a legendary. If we don't get a legendary in 120, we'd be hella disappointed. Right, here we got Aina. I don't know if Aina is very good. No, I really don't think so. She can do decreased defense and weaken, which is kind of nice. Then she can get an extra turn on her A1. I think with that extra turn, it could really throw off like clan boss teams. She'd drop her buffs. So I'm really not sure about her for clan boss. That makes me a bit worried. Siege Hulk is a really good champion. The real tragedy of Siege Hulk, like, he's such a cool looking champ. Like, he's got a freaking ballista on his back. Amazing looking champ, super cool. Puts increased defense on himself, then does an AoE decreased defense. Amazing champion. The problem with Siege Hulk is the Ugo problem, is that in the Ogren tribes, you also have Ugo, who's also magic affinity and has decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. And Ugo is just so insanely good because she has block buffs with it, and she then has a heal as well on her A3. She's so OP for Hydra, and also really useful for other areas of the game, that she just completely overshadows this guy. Now, he's really good. If you don't have Ugo, this guy's going to be your guy. But the tragedy is, once you get Ugo, you might use this guy still for your damage in Faction Wars as well. But he really starts to become irrelevant when you get her, which is really sad. He has a bit of a turn meter deplete right there. Gives himself increased crit rate, crit damage, and then there's a single target attack that can place decreased speed. And he's a great champion, but sadly overshadowed. It's quite tragic. If he was in a different faction, like, there's plenty of other factions that if he was in there, he'd be like the MVP epic. But Ugo's just too good. We got a whole bunch of rares. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Moving on to the next ones. Here we go. Okay, that's enough rares now, Plarium. That's enough rares now. Okay, at least we got an epic. It's Kram. Unfortunately, Kram is really not great. He does have a funky move here where he does Poison Explosion. And it's only single target, but he does do Poison Explosion. So you can, potentially, if you don't have another Poison Exploder, you can use him for some funky stuff, like blowing up Spider. Perhaps, though he's the wrong affinity for level 20, you could use him for some stuff. It's quite awkward, though. I don't know. Scratch did some fun stuff with this guy in the faction games recently. I feel like he's just, generally speaking, Kram is unfortunately pretty weak. Really, with Poison Explosion, you're looking for AoEs, because against bosses on level 21 to 25 dungeons, their damage they can take from it is capped, whereas the waves aren't. So it's really the AoE Poison Explosion you're looking for. But I don't know. Kram, he can do some fun stuff. Maybe he can one-shot the boss in Faction Wars. I'm not sure. Not sure. All right, here we go. Umatoge coming in. And, oh, Lady Quillen. She's pretty new, actually. She's pretty new. So Umatoge, again, I think not great. Looks cool, though. Looks cool. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles swords, whatever they're called. I can think they're called size. So she has better chance to crit if she's got fail or perfect fail. Double hitter ignores defense. Extra chance to crit if she's under fail or perfect fail. This move puts perfect fail, increased speed on her, and 40% turn meter fill. I feel like that's kind of a bummer. Like, you really prefer if this was like a 3-turn buffs with extra turn. You know, she gets the buffs for 2 turns, but then she wastes a turn of the buffs. It's kind of underwhelming. She can block a hit and all this stuff. She can counterattack bosses. No, she counterattacks the default skill. She's just not great, unfortunately. She's got some interesting stuff in there, but it's just undertuned. I just wouldn't bother using her. Lady Quillen's an interesting one. Looks badass. I don't know why she's got a random leg out, though. That seems like that's just a bad idea at the forge. She's like, yo, I'm a blacksmith, but I'm going to burn my left leg. No problem. She fills her turn meter if she crits. She attacks a single enemy, extra hit if it crits, and then fills the turn meter for all allies if this attack kills an enemy. This would have been so cool if it was just a turn meter fill. She would have been a game changer. Unfortunately, not so. So she does need to land the kill. And then this is a funky move as well. First to fight, AoE attack, puts increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns, and increased attack on all allies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So the thing that's kind of funny about this is that she puts the increased attack buff out after she attacks. So this is an AoE, but it's not going to do all that much damage because she's not going to have the crit damage or increased attack buffs on. Those go on after she's done the AoE, but I guess she can soften them up and then maybe start getting kills and filling turn meter. Seems a bit wonky. I'm not sure where you would use her outside of Faction Wars. I think she is good for Faction Wars. Bannerlords don't have very good damage dealers, so I think she can be good in that sort of setup. She's not bad by any means, but yeah, she's not amazing, and I wouldn't rush out to build her. It's like, okay, you're filling up your Faction War teams. She might be a nice fifth champion to slot in. We have Arndulf, also pretty new. Araness, Relic Keeper. All right, again, fairly underwhelming epics, I'd say. Arndulf, he looks super cool. I really like this guy. He's got a horse on his helmet. He's got a horse here on his pauldron. He's got a horse on his belly. He's got a horse on his shield, a horse on his pommel. The dude loves horses, and the tragedy of this champion is he's got all these pictures of horses, but he's got horseshoes, but you know, he doesn't have an actual horse. It's probably the biggest tragedy in Raid, let's be honest, you know. Where's the actual horse? Feels bad, man. He's got a chance to provoke 30% on the A1 when booked. It's really poor. He does have an AoE attack with Weaken and a chance to place Fear. So that's, you know, it's somewhat decent. 50% chance to AoE Fear with the Weaken. It's a decent move for an epic. Then he has Reflect damage on all allies for 2 turns and counterattack on himself. So early game, this can help you with progression on Fire Knight, right? When Fire Knight hits you, that Reflect damage does knock off a point of shield for every ally that's hit. So you can knock off 5 points of the Fire Knight shield when he hits you, and then this guy will counterattack and knock off another point with it. So he's good for that, but that's about all he's good for. I definitely wouldn't rush out to build him. Like, he's going to be decent for Fire Knight stuff. Maybe if he gets a horse one day, he'll be a little bit better. Araness, actually not a bad poisoner. She's got a 100% chance to place a poison on her A1, so she's actually quite consistent. Increase the duration of all debuffs on the target as well with an AoE attack, and then she's block buffs on her A3 single target. Actually a pretty decent clan boss poisoner. She's really not bad. Most people never get to use her, of course, because she's part of the Razin fusion. So when you get an Araness, she just gets fed into Razin, and yeah, then by the time you get a second one, it's kind of too late for her to be useful. But she is actually decent. She's decent. Relic Keeper, he's part of the permanent fusions, right? Can be okay early game, but because he can sort of start popping off and one-shotting people in arena, but he's really good for the first like month or two playing the game in arena, and then he's kind of useless after that. You know, he super falls off. All right, let's go again. Here we go. Man, all the rares. Phoenix. Now, Phoenix actually very good epic. He does have AoE block buffs, which is very useful now, especially against Hydra. Then his A1 smacks. This is one of the hardest hitting A1s in the game. Extra hit if the target has any debuffs. It's very easy to trigger that, and it blocks revive. So again, he can be decent in some arena stuff. He's, I think, quite good against Hydra. He really, really will hit hard. The block revive can be quite useful for farming the Ice Golem as well. It can be good in Faction Wars. Then he has single target, decreased defense, decreased speed. I think he's a good solid champion. He's a good solid epic. Definitely somewhat underrated. You know, and then I love the, you know, the beard, and then the sort of the long hair sort of swept back over the ears. I think is a really good look. You know, I think it's just very fashionable, very cool looking. So, yeah, he's got that going for him as well. Right, we're halfway through the shards, halfway through no legendary. Let's go. Where that legendary at? Let's see some gold, Plarium. Let's see some gold. Catacomb Counselor, Crimson Helm, and a bunch of rares. Catacomb Canceller, look, he's probably the worst ally attacker in the game, but he is an ally attacker. Might be useful, probably not. Crimson Helm does have the potential to solo Bommel 90 hard, the hardest form of Bommel. She can solo it. It takes about, I think it takes about 20 minutes of pure manual play. It's a pain in the butt, but she can do it. The reason being that she gives herself block damage to block the bomb explosion, and then she can have put revive on death on herself to survive the Bommel hits. It's very stressful, but it is an option. I personally don't like that strategy at all, but some people do, and it might be the only option you have to beat Bommel. So there you go. Let's go in again. No gold, man. No gold. Alaric the Hooded, he's coming in. Again, not a great champion. His AoE decrease attack, decrease accuracy. He's not great. He's not great. He does look kind of cool. He's kind of funky. Got that rogue sort of vibe, rogue knight, which is kind of cool. He might be okay for some faction war stuff. You wouldn't rush out to build him. Deathless, I think, is a really fun champion, but unfortunately not that good. She does have an AoE that hits really hard. This hits really hard. The damage increases according to the number of dead allies. It's just so awkward to actually use this, but she can do some fun stuff. She's a champion you build like when you're late game and you just want something for fun, I don't think she's much use other than that, but she's a fun champion. She's pretty cool. Let's go again. Come on. Come on. We're looking for that gold. There it is. We got the gold. Sigmund the High Shield. Okay. If he didn't complete the Sigmund fusion, he's actually really, really good. We're getting loads of good Bannerlords. Actually, Spymaster as a rare. Quite a good Bannerlord rare as well. Sigmund the High Shield. This guy's awesome. I'm a big fan. He's AoE, provoke, and decrease attack on a 3-turn cooldown. It's not guaranteed to provoke, but you get 2 75% chances because he hits twice, which is very, very useful. Even if he weak hits on one of the attacks, you still have a second chance. This is just a great move. Phenomenal for Hydra, great for Doom Tower, really good. His A1 removes shield buffs and can remove random buffs as well. Has a really good chance, in fact 100% chance when booked, to remove a buff against bosses. Again, for Hydra, for Doom Tower waves, very, very useful, right? Rip that increase attack off the Head of Wrath, rip buffs off of Doom Tower waves. Then he has Shield of the Realm. Shield equal to 30% of this champion's max HP on all allies, and strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. Again, another just phenomenal move. This gives you so much protection. One of the best ally shields in the game. It's really, really strong. It's sort of the same sort of move as Mithrala Lifebane from Hydra. She has a full cleanse built in, so her move is significantly better. But in terms of the shielding and the strengthen, this is just as good as what Mithrala does. And she's one of the best legendaries in the game. So he's really strong, right? You go AoE provoke and decrease attack, then shield your team. A1, which is not bad, maybe rip off a buff, and then you just go right back into the rotation. Without books, he is much worse, but getting both of these down to a 3-turn cooldown is super good. Whenever he's attacked, he can decrease the duration of all buffs on the attacker. It's a 40% chance against bosses. Again, in Hydra, very, very nifty. And then 40% defense in Doom Tower battles. This guy is great. Like, you can put him in the lead. You could have him in the lead. Sylve the Drakes, Vizix, Archmage Helmet. They've got a really good core team. That's a really good core team for Doom Tower hard. Like, pretty exceptional, You're going to have provokes and stuns, AoE flying all over the place, plenty of healing and protection. And yeah, that's the sort of team that, and a really good aura here as well. That's the sort of team I would use to get through Doom Tower hard for sure. Not bad, not bad. Hopefully he's new. If not, hey, look, it's a dupe for Faction Guardians at least. I wouldn't probably empower Sigmund. I'd probably save him. I would probably save him for Faction Guardians, I think, because he's sort of a support champion. He does hit hard, actually. He does good damage, but you don't need to. Doom Priest, amazing epic, right? Removing a debuff at the start of every turn, healing everyone, really pumps out a lot of healing over time. He does have increased attack as well. Very useful for like Helicath style clan boss teams. You can make it affinity friendly by removing those debuffs, removing the stun. Very nifty in that increased attack to empower your damage dealers. So very good in that context. Let's go again. We already had that Lady Quillen pulled. We'll check if Sigmund was a dupe or not. Hopefully he's new. He's one of my favorite legendaries. Just a really solid support all around. Nazana, actually a great champion, especially early game. AoE A1, then an AoE A3 that has a chance, 75% when booked, of placing decreased attack. Unfortunately, I love that this was 100%. Probably should be buffed to be 100%. But she's quite decent in a stun set. She does no damage, attack base. They should really change this to scale off of HP and make this 100%, and then she'd be amazing. But it is what it is. Then she puts ally protection on everyone and a shield buff equal to 40% of her max HP on herself, which is, again, really, really strong. She can be an amazing tank for Spider level 20. I presume we're probably past that on this account, right? But she's the wrong affinity for Spider level 20. She's all these AoE attacks and a really good shield on herself. You build her with good resistance. If you can get her into lifesteal and give her War Master, she's going to heal herself a ton with these AoE War Master procs. The decreased attack helps her stay alive. The shield protects her as well. And she can make Spider 20 really easy when you don't have those cold hearts, those really overpowered champions. So, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Here we go. Come on. Can we get another gold? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for another gold. And we're not going to get it. I believe that is the last set. Oh. Well, we got one. We got one. Mistress of Hymns does have a revive. She's not great. Not great champion. Pretty terrible heal here. Pretty terrible A1. She's just pretty bad. You can bring her in to revive if you really need her for Faction Wars at level 50, you know, but you're really hoping you don't need to use her. And that's it. We got 1 gold. We got the 1 gold. It's better than none. It's pretty much expected that we would have hoped for more. We have no duplicates. Okay, here we go. So this was actually a brand new Bannerlord Legendary. In fact, he is your first Legendary for Bannerlords. Let me tell you, I wonder how far you are in Bannerlord Faction Crypts. Let's take a quick look here. Bannerlords, you got 60 stars, so you're actually super close to finishing it. Well, boom, Sigmund, I'm pretty sure you've just beaten it. I think it's that easy. You know, Sigmund with Archmage Helmet. We actually have Stag Knight and Ursula the Mourner in here as well. You've got this on lockdown. Like, you're totally good. You're totally good. Yeah, there's pretty much no way that you can be wiped out. Like, if you get Ursula in a regen set, she's never going to die when she's protected by Sigmund. It's just not going to happen. So even if Sigmund's level 50, I'd say you're solid, you know? So there you go. You just beat Bannerlords. Congratulations. Getting closer. Inching closer to that Lydia. You are within striking distance. The orcs is really holding you back. And the poor old lizards. There you are. They are pretty tough factions. But there you go. Interesting set of pulls. I'd say fairly average pulls overall. But it's always nice to get a new Legendary. And Sigmund, he's a very, very helpful one. So not too shabby. There we go. There were the pulls for Mexolius. All right, then finally today we are on Traj95's account. We've pulled shards for him before and we are back today. We got 60 ancient shards to pull and he's also pretty confident that he is close to Mercy. So we're hopeful that we should almost definitely, we think, get 1 legendary. Maybe we get 2 if we're lucky. Let's see if the luck holds up. Let's go in. We got 10 pulls to go. Here we are. Let's go. And again, that gold could pop up at any moment. We got Frostbringer. I actually think Frostbringer is pretty decent now for Faction Wars specifically, right? Increased speed, increased attack on your team on a 4-turn cooldown is really not bad. Then she has a triple hitter at random that will place decreased defense for 2 turns. When booked up, 3-turn cooldown. So yeah, it's random, not super reliable. But not too bad. And then a double hitter at random that can place heal reduction. I think she's really good for Fire Knight, you know? She's got a triple hitter and then a double hitter, the increased speed, increased attack. I think she's good for Faction Wars for Sacred Order. I think she's good early game Fire Knight champion. The main problem, of course, being that Frostbringer, she's not bringing any frost, is she? She's got no freeze anywhere in her kit, which makes no sense. Replace that heal reduction A1 with a freeze, please. We beg you, Plarium. It makes no sense. Here we are in again. We've got no that legendary yet. Thylesia, though, I really like her. I'm actually going to have a video of her coming out this weekend showcasing the sort of things she can do in Hydra. She has, it's kind of hard to see here because this is like her, whatever, 4-star level 1 stats. But even at 6-star, fully ascended and everything, she has horrendous base HP. I think 12k base HP, about 1k base defense. She is ridiculously squishy. However, she does really good damage. And when booked up, AoE decreased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Then AoE debuff extension on a 3-turn cooldown. And then her A1 can debuff spread to enemies under Hex, and she has a 50-50 whenever hitting enemies under decreased defense of placing Hex. So she comes in, turn 1, AoE decrease defense, turn 2, extend that, and have a 50-50 to place Hex, then start spreading debuffs to people with Hex, then she just rotates back through it again. She pumps out so much AoE damage, proccing AoE War Master hits as well, hexing, decreased defense, extending debuffs. Really great champ. You know, you put her in with Walking Tomb Drang, the new Knight's Revenant fragment that we just finished, who places HP burn. She extends the burn. Tomb Drang can then explode the burns with his A1. Really cool synergies there. She is a ton of fun. Definitely check out my Thylesia video, which is going to be, again, out this weekend. Not sure what day. I've got to figure all that out today. But yeah, these videos will be out this weekend, so make sure to check them out. Man, the rares are coming in. I think that's us halfway through the shards. We've got 30 left. I'm getting nervous. I'm hoping this mercy timer is close. Come on, where is that gold? Yaga the Insatiable. Get out of here, Yaga. Get out of here. Login champion. He's just really bad. I actually really wish they'd buff this guy, because it'd just be helpful. Like, everyone gets Yaga. Is it 1 week or something into the game? Like, you get him super early. Or is he maybe the 2-month champion? He might be the 2-month champion. Super early anyway. 50% chance to place a poison here. Double hitter. Each hit 75% chance of placing a poison here. And then his damage increases the more poisons they're under. It would be really nice to give him some guaranteed stuff, or poison sensitivity, or just some sort of, I don't know, just buff this guy in some way. Because having a great poisoner would really help out those early game players. This guy's just bad. I think he is, according to their statistics, I think he is the most fed champion in the game. That people get him for the monthly login, they go, he sucks, and then they just feed him. They use him as a 4-star chicken. That's how bad he is. Sachi's really good. I actually really like Sachi. I'll have a video on her coming soon-ish as well. I'm currently, building her up and gearing her up and getting her masteries, all that sort of stuff. AoE, decrease accuracy in her A1, 50% chance. Great move, again, for Hydra especially. Really great A1. Her A2 has a 2-turn cooldown when booked, and it places decreased crit rate and a leech debuff for 2 turns. This move is definitely not very good, but it can be helpful, right? You go in against the Hydra, for example, you put this on the Head of Wrath, and it makes it much safer. Enemies in PvE have a 15% chance to crit you, and they obviously get an extra 15% if they are the positive affinity to you. If they have the affinity advantage, with decreased crit rate, they can just never crit you. Not very useful, except, in my opinion, against Head of Wrath and Hydra. It just means he never can crit you, and it makes it much safer. The Leech debuff helps you heal up. Then her A3 is really good. Increase attack on all allies. Then she attacks an enemy and does a 20% turn meter fill if she crits, right? So we're going to build her with good crit rate. We're going to build her with good accuracy and really good speed. She's going to come in. She's going to be probably putting out pretty decent damage, because she's going to be critting. She's going to put out decent damage, increase attack and turn meter fills for our team on a 3-turn cooldown, decrease attack, decrease crit rate leech if we need it, and then just spamming AoE attacks, decrease accuracy. I think she's pretty great. She does do a revive if she kills an enemy, and she can put fears on all enemies whenever an ally is revived. Not the most useful passive. It's hard to make this work, but it's something that might come in clutch in Faction Wars. I think she's a great champion. Shadowkin has got a lot of offensive champions, bringing that increased attack. Very helpful if you don't have Yoshi the Drunkard, for example. So she's actually, I think, a really good epic. I'm a big fan of Sachi. Working on a video on her. It'll be done when it's done, right? When I've got the time. Sandlash, really nice. Arndulf, not so nice. There's the gold! Drockgul the Gaunt. Oh my god, this is the second Drockgul I pulled this weekend. What is going on? Let's look at these first. Sandlash is amazing. Awesome passive. Ally protection on all allies when any ally's HP drops below 50%, and block damage on her. The block damage on her makes sure she won't die from the ally protection damage that she is taking, which is very helpful. And the way this works, basically AoE attacks target each member of your party individually, one by one, is how AoE attacks are actually programmed, which means if you put her in the back position of your team, if the first person in your party gets dropped below half health by an AoE attack, she then puts ally protection on everyone else, which means that the second and third person in your party are going to be protected by ally protection for the full AoE hit, and she'll have block damage for the full AoE hit. It makes your team so tanky. She's just fantastic. This champion is amazing. She really opens up go second teams for Arena. She's probably going to be clutch for a lot of people in tag arena. I actually use her in my tag arena, and she's awesome for it. She also hits pretty damn hard. She's an AoE that decreases enemy buffs by 1 turn and increases ally buffs by 1 turn. Again, just to make you more survivable. This does hit hard. Her A1 double hitter that can provoke if she has no debuffs actually makes her quite good as well against the Magma Dragon, right? She comes in against Magma Dragon. She's got a good chance to provoke, and she can even protect your teams if the provoke fails and the Magma Dragon starts popping off. She can help you stay alive. So she's just fantastic. Defense in all battles. She's very, very good for Demon Lord Clan Boss as well if you're going for a killable team because of that buff extension. She can give you full coverage of like block debuffs or all the rest. Very good champion. Arndulf, we talked about him already, I think, in today's video. Depending on how I edit these shard pulls together, he's only average. AoE weaken with a chance to fear. And then he's got this cool move with reflect damage and counterattack. Good against Fire Knight, but that's about it. Drokul the Gaunt, we've talked about him already this weekend. I won't go too much into him. I think he's a decent legendary. Very good early game. He does fall off a bit late game. 40% chance when booked to stun on his A1. He does bring you increased attack, increased defense, and even block damage for allies at less than 30% HP on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. It's a good buffing move. This is a good buffing move. It's not bad. And then he has a really nice shield move over here. On his A3, it does book to a 4-turn cooldown. Shield equal to 15% of his max HP for 3 turns. He does have a good chunk of max HP. So that shield is useful for Hydra. He's going to be a nice champ for Hydra. Good champ for Doom Tower progression. Try to keep you alive. Very helpful with the shield for the Scarab boss especially. He then heals allies. Whenever the shield is broken, he heals them by 15% of his max HP. And then they get to counterattack as well whenever the shield is broken. They get to counterattack for free. So it's a good move. It's not the best shield. It's not the biggest shield in the game, but it's useful. It comes with a heal as well. I think he definitely gets really overshadowed by Brogni if you got Brogni, of course. But other than that, he's not bad, and he looks cool too. I love the runestone on his back. He's a solid enough support. He's solid enough support. I feel like he does need to be booked really to get the most value out of this. There's also quite difficult Ogren Tribe Secret Room in the Doom Tower. He's good for that too. HP in all battles. Yeah, he's not amazing, but he's decent. Not amazing, but decent. Let's go through. We got the rest of these shards. Maybe we get another gold in here. Maybe another legendary. That'd be pretty hype, because I feel like that one was probably that Mercy timer that was close. Nothing in this set, and that looks like that's us done. Mordecai, though, amazing epic. If you did not have him already, you're going to be very happy. AoE HP burn with increased attack for 3 turns for your team. Awesome move, super useful. And because this is not an attack, it's a place, it doesn't get affected by affinity. He's not going to kill the spiderlings with raw damage in Spider's Den, which is very useful. It goes through the poison cloud in Hydra. He is, in my opinion, the best epic HP burner in the game. By quite a big shot, actually. I think he's quite by far the best. Some turn meter manipulation on his A2, which is good-ish for Hydra. It's not amazing. And then his A1 is a bit of a turn meter deplete as well, which is actually quite decent against, again, that spider boss to just push its turn meter back and let the spiderlings take their turns. I usually turn off this A2 for spider, because I want the enemies, I want the spiderlings to take a turn. Just let them spam A1. Try push just the spider boss back. Let the burns do their thing. For faction wars, for Hydra though, his whole toolkit's pretty good. He has accuracy in all battles as well, which is, again, quite nifty. He's a really good champion. Jarang's actually just getting buffed, guys. He's getting buffed. So he's now going to have a guaranteed stun on his A2 when fully booked. And he's going to have a triple hitter at random, which again, when booked, is going to have a 100% chance now after the next patch, probably next week. Going to have a 100% chance to place decreased attack and decreased defense. So Jarang just got a lot better, and he's got a speed in dungeons aura too. Probably not relevant for dungeons at this point of the game, but for Lizardman Faction Wars, he's actually not bad. And like I said, there's a difficult Lizardman secret room in here as well. I wonder, where are we at? Oh man, Lizardman Crypt, we got 22 stars. Jarang could actually be pretty big here. Jarang could actually be pretty useful. Let me see. Do we have any of those dupes? So if we go to Ogren, let's check the legendaries. Okay, so he's new for Ogren. That's actually not bad. Sacred Order, was he new? Looks like... Yeah, looks like Mordecai. Oh, no, we already have a Mordecai. We've actually got a couple, so that's nothing new, unfortunately. Yes, that's a little bit of a bummer, but nonetheless, not too bad. Quick glance here at the Ogren. We only had Gerptuk. We only had Gerptuk in there. So I actually think you've got a pretty solid team here. Between Gerptuk and Drokgul, that's a lot of support. Bring in that Ugo as well. You've got Uragrim too. We've got Man-Eaters. So actually, Oghren should be pretty easy. You've got the champs you need to beat it. Shatterbones, Skullcrusher. We got really good champs here. Shouldn't be a problem. Like I don't have Gerptuk. I don't have any of the damage dealing ones. The only epics I've got Gerda, Shamrock, and Drokgul now. And I beat it with just using, I wasn't even using Shamrock at the time. I beat this one pretty easily with just epics. So you've got the tools that you need, no problem, to take it down. How far are we in Ogrim? Only 37 stars. This is just a matter of doing that champion training, putting some gears on that team, some gear on that team. You've got Ogrim beat. Like, you've done it. You've done it easily now at this point. They're gonna rip through that. So very, very nice. There we go, guys. There are the shard pulls. I hope that you enjoyed. I think I will have split the shard pulls into 2 videos this weekend. And probably put up the 2 videos. Let me know if you enjoyed that. It wasn't too much. Do you want more? I don't know. Let me know. But yeah, hope you have a great weekend. Hope you guys had good luck with your pulls as well. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.